wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about.
That was the voice of Karmelo. That was his mom voice, okay? And we're going to get into this tragedy. Karmelo allegedly stabbed another athlete, and he has been indicted. This happened at a track meet, y'all, FRISCO track meet. Metcalf is the young man life was taken at a track meet, FRISCO track meet, by Karmelo Anthony. Y'all, how y'all doing? This story right here really affected me from being a track coach, okay? And things like that do happen, but not like this. Nothing should have been deadly about this situation. So we're going to get into it, okay? We're going to hear from the district attorney, and we're going to hear from Karmelo Anthony, attorney. He's been indicted, first-degree murder, and that's no surprising, y'all. It could have been self-defense, but it turned deadly, okay?
Good afternoon. Earlier this spring, our community was shaken by what happened at a school track meet in Frisco. The violent loss of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. For weeks now, my team has been presenting evidence to the grand jury, and today I summarized that evidence, and I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Karmelo Anthony, which they did. With this indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system. From this point forward, we'll continue doing our job, but fully and fairly, to pursue justice under the law. As for the scheduling of the trial, that will be up to the court. But when the time comes, we will be ready. Now, we know this case has struck a deep nerve here in Collin County and beyond. And that's understandable. When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves. We're also mindful of Austin's family and everyone who loved him. Please keep them in your thoughts, and if you're willing, your prayers as well. Finally, let's remember that a defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law.
Today's indictment of Karmelo Anthony is
And this is Karmelo Anthony, attorney.
in the legal process. An indictment is a procedural step that happens in virtually every felony criminal case. It's a document that lays out for both the prosecution and the defense what the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt in court. An indictment simply means that a grand jury, after hearing only the prosecution's side of the story, determined that there was enough evidence to allow the case to move forward to court. That's all an indictment means. Karmelo and his family are confident in the justice system and the people of Collin County to be fair and impartial. Of course, Karmelo looks forward to his day in court. It's only in a trial that a jury will hear the full story, one that includes critical facts and context that the grand jury simply didn't get to hear. It's only in a trial that both sides get to present evidence and cross-examine each other's witnesses. This is why our justice system is based on the principle of a full and fair trial. That's because it's only in a trial that the full story can be heard and that impartial justice can be done. We expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Karmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense. Self-defense is a fundamental right guaranteed every American. The law is clear. When self-defense to prove that they acted in self-defense. It's actually the opposite. The law requires the prosecution to rule out the reasonable doubt that the citizen accused may have acted in self-defense. We understand that this case has sparked strong reactions. Please remember that there are real human beings, kids, on both sides of this case. We ask that everyone do as the law requires and withhold judgment until all the evidence can be heard in court.
All right, people. This is for not entertainment. I apologize. I'm used to entertaining people, y'all. Criticism, news reporting, and educating purposes. Now, Carmelo Anthony is a young man that has been indicted and charged with first degree felony. Okay? And they having a stand your ground law in states. In some states, this y'all voting on this, so this what happened. So I'm glad justice. I'm glad that you know what, I hate that this happened. Let's put it like this, okay? And so let's listen to some of the legal advice, y'all, from these experts about self-defense arguments, okay? See, stand your ground is a good law, but it's the way you handle that law. You know what I mean? But I knew that he was gonna be indicted. I knew that because of somebody lost their life in the situation, and to me, he used self. He started out with the self defense, and then it turned deadly. Okay, so that's what happened here. Let's look at this.
Questions and narratives as we move to trial.
Explain your self-defense.
First is whether Karmelo acted in self-defense.
Texas has probably the strongest self-defense laws of any state in the country.
Todd Shapiro is a longtime defense attorney. He is not a party in this case. He tells us if and when the defense brings up self-defense, it's wording the burden is on the state or prosecution to disprove it.
First of all, are you justified in the defense? Secondly, is the threat imminent, and is it necessary to combat potentially deadly force being used against you?
On Wednesday, the case was assigned to the 296th District Court, Judge John Roach. These cases are not assigned to courts by choice, but next in line.
The next one up is the next one up, so they know that no one in the district clerk's office or the DA's office or the defense attorney has any say on which court the case falls into.
Judges can recuse themselves. That has not happened. This is significant because the judge who heard Karmelo's bond hearing was subject to death threats and needed security.
I'm very pleased the case ended up in his court. He's compassionate when he needs to be, and he's tough when he needs to be, and he runs a great courtroom.
This case has become polarizing. It's become racial, and outside agitators have introduced mis- and disinformation.
I really hate that this happened, y'all. I'm sorry.
The outside noise,
I hate this. I'm talking about that the boy got
More developments
unalive in
during
this situation.
Before the trial ever starts. Plea deals avoiding trial altogether are also possible.
Carmelo Anthony, class of 2025.
But what is inevitable is emotion, and there's been plenty of that. In Collin County, I'm Jobin Piker.
Y'all tell me what y'all think about the indictment. He got to go in front of a judge now. Indicted for first degree. You know what? Y'all can take it high and say how you want to. Somebody's son lost their life in this situation right here, y'all. And it could have been your child in this situation. It could have been more than one child in this situation. We don't know how this situation would have turned out. Both families lost their sons through violence. Okay? So look at it that way. Both sides lost their child. And we got to make the law came in a place in this situation right here. Now, Do I want justice? Want the family? Want Austin Metcalf family to get justice? Of course I do. They lost their son in a situation like this. Yes. Yes. I think the jury did a good job. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of bites, but that's okay. But Karmelo Anthony, he did respond back in self-defense. I'm not good with that law, but he did respond back in. But it went deadly, and it shouldn't have went deadly at all. No, nothing. No weapon should have been out. Period. I don't care nothing about nobody's size or what. Cause really, it used to be the bigger they are, the harder they fall. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this. The stabbing death of the fatal FRISCO ISD staff, and tell me what you think about the indictment. I'm out of here, y'all.